This is a quick video tour of my garden, which is just kind of a mishmash. And right here we have some comfrey and a hazelnut right by the back deck. We have an all-in-one almond here, some pineapple sage, some foxgloves back there. I've got black raspberries with chocolate mint growing right here. And I'm going to put some kind of fruit tree or something right here because these need some more shade. On this other side we've got just a bunch of random flowers. There's some amaranth that grew back from last year. And another hazelnut there. A sweet cherry, and there's a pie cherry back there. And an apple with some bee balm and some other pollinator plants back there. And I have a whole row back here of black raspberries. Now we'll go over to the other side of the garden. You can see I have my chicken fence up there. It's the electric chicken fence. And if you can see back there in the middle, that's my cob chicken coop that I built. The chickens are running around in there. We have a fenced in area that was like a dog run. And it was all weeds when we moved in like 5 years ago. And now it's a chicken area. Over here we have some raspberries that I've already trimmed up this year. Don't mind the trash and the mess right there. This trash can was supposed to be my swamp water, but it had a hole in the bottom. So it ended up being just like a composty bin and a worm bin. So it's got worms in it right now. There's my chickens. And here is more black raspberries. There's an elderberry behind it there. And inside the chicken run, I've got a huge peach tree, which I tried to prune it and keep it small, but it wasn't working, so I just let it grow. There's a couple pears, and over by the coop, there's a couple of apples. So I like this elderberry. It just kind of grows over the edge and the chickens can eat it, and so do the black raspberries. And along the fence here with the chickens we have cherry tomatoes and okra. And the okra is not doing so well this year, but the chickens do like to eat the seeds, so I put it right there. And our first row is asparagus and strawberries. I have a whole row of just asparagus and strawberries. I'm going to take the strawberries out of the middle. I found that it's just too hard to keep it to be able to reach into the middle and get the strawberries, so we're going to take those out. Probably give them away or put them somewhere else. I had the strawberries over here, and this was all full of strawberries along the carport, but it was too wide, so I took out most of the strawberries. Here is it's either a peach or a nectarine I planted from seed 2 years ago, maybe. And I'm trying to prune it to keep it pretty small, so we'll see how that goes. Next to that we have some peppers I put in this year. There's strawberries back there. I've got a little bit baby lettuce in here that I just planted. There's another peach and or nectarine. I'm not sure which one that is. I'm going to have this one trained sideways, so I've cut it sort of sideways like that. And more strawberries. We've got some perennial onions there. And along here is an apple that I transplanted from over there. Put it over here. This is just kind of a bare spot. And there's a different mix of strawberries in here. I've got some alpines and some other strawberries. And past that we have more strawberries. This used to again be another just strawberry patch, but I took out a bunch. There's just some random lettuces left over and this leek, which I think is cute. I'm going to just plant a bunch of leeks because I think they're adorable. And I put in carrots where I had pulled out lettuces before, so the carrots are just starting to come up. have zucchinis here that I just planted 2 or 3 weeks ago. Also, these sunflowers I got in too late because I lost the seed packet. So there's some strawberries, or some sunflowers in here. And past that, there's just a random peony and my one fig. I had 3 fig trees and they all died. I replanted this one, and I'm not sure what variety it is because it grew back from the root, and it just dies off every year and comes back, and I get a handful of figs off of it every year, so I'm okay with that. I have a giant pile of mulch there that was delivered from Chip Dump last year, and I haven't moved it all yet, so it's just kind of sitting there. Here we've got a whole rambling mess of Seminole pumpkins. Past that is an area where I'm going to put more of a food forest type area. Right now it's a lot of blackberries and some raspberries. I have a couple of kiwis back there that have not fruited, and it's been like 5 years, so I think I'm going to pull those out and try some grapes instead. But along this back fence we have a lot of brush and trees that have gotten really big, and it's not my property on that side, so it's gotten more shady over here than I would like. But my kids wanted some corn, so I planted some rows of sweet corn, and I've got some basil just along the front of those. I did put some sunflowers in among the pumpkins back there. I don't know if they're gonna come up or not, but and I had potatoes back in the back corner that we've already pulled. So let's see. There's the corn. I've got a few onions here, and I just threw my extra pepper seeds in here recently, so they might not do anything this year, but there's 2 apples. Is it 2 apples? Maybe it's just 1 apple. No, there's 2 in there. 2 apple trees in here that I planted from seed. And we have a whole big row of tomatoes with just some random, I think, peppers, maybe lettuce I put around the bottom that hasn't come up yet. And at the end of every row, every path, I have a blueberry. And it's gotten too shady back here for them, so I don't know, I have to beat back this jungle on the fence that doesn't belong to me, but we'll see. And I have just this strip of weedy mess at the back along this fence line, so I've covered part of it with tarp just for now, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I've tried cardboard, I've tried mulch, straw and cardboard, newspaper, and it's just a mess back here. But this bed is my best looking bed, I think, because I did a whole bunch of ground coffee leftovers, because my daughter's a barista, and then I covered that with a huge thick layer of leaves. There's actually still quite a bit of leaves that haven't decomposed yet, but that really helped. I really like fall leaves as a mulch. It's worked very well. So I will be more diligent this fall to make sure that I cover it properly. This is a very sad zucchini back here. He's on his way out. I had turnips in here, and we haven't really eaten them. I just randomly pull them and feed them to the chickens. So there's some turnips. I've planted some more cucumbers in between, and a row of carrots. There's another little apple in here. And I made these signs from cut up soda cans, and these wires were from metal hangers, so I just kind of cut them and twisted them, and I used a pen to just etch the name in there. And we've got daikons in here, and they all fell over, but they're still alive. They're still growing a lot of seed. I like to cut the seed off. Just cut some random stems of seed and throw them to the chickens. The chickens will eat it. And I think I ended up with this little baby apple tree right there. so he's gonna have to move. But the daikons we feed to the chickens in like late fall and early winter. And I've got a bunch of lettuce. A lot of that's going to seed right here on the end. I've got beans here. Those are also starting to die off and go to seed. Here we've got some peppers with some radish in between. And a whole bunch of cucumbers in this row. And the back here is very rocky. It's not very good soil. But I put in some more zucchinis back here. Or maybe they're cucumbers. I don't remember. But this was our peas. The peas are dying back, so I just left it there. There's another blueberry. And this is half a row of strawberries and asparagus. And then it's a bunch of other things. And I do have another apple tree in here. Little guy. These apple trees, I put the seed in the fridge over the winter. And I planted them out this spring. So this is just their first year. More perennial onions. We've got a whole big thing of oregano, which I think I'm going to pull out the oregano and put it back there along the fence, since it's so vigorous and taking over, and I have weed problems back there, so I think we'll move that. My little rhubarb is not doing so well, but there's a rhubarb in there. We've got strawberries on both sides. We've got some peppers, some collards. There's another apple tree in here, right there. I really like the collards. I don't eat them, but I feed them to the chickens, and they last like all year through the winter. And we're in zone 7B. Here I've got some more lettuces gone to seed. There's a cherry tomato trying to pop up in there. And let's see, what else is in here? More apple trees. We've got some flowers that have gone to seed. There's a daisy. I have some spinach in here. This is another bed that's very rocky, so I really need to cover that. Put some chicken mulch, chicken manure, and some leaves in there this year. But that is most of my garden. And give it it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows right now, plus that mess back there. And up by the road we have some Jerusalem artichokes around the mailbox, and I have 2 more nectarine trees, and I have several rows of blueberries. I think 28 blueberry plants up along that hillside, and there's some random stuff on that hill. I've got honeyberries, a couple of currants. So yeah, that's my garden. Oh, behind the mulch there's some more raspberries.